Welcome to Career Mantras, your YouTube channel where we discuss the successful mantras for a good career in corporate life. One of the problems that I had for a very long time was that I used to have very good thoughts, goals, but when it comes to action, I really struggle. I did a lot of research around how do we get into this action mindset, and I've tried quite a few number of. In this video, I want to explain what are the things that I've learned and some of this I have really tried it out and got some success into it. So let's start the podcast. Yeah, I said let me start, but before we start, um, as I've told, I've watched a few number of videos on that. There are two things which is very important. A lot of these videos and ideas are for the general public, and the problem is how I will get into the action mindset. So it's you or me who has to choose what will work and not some generic advices from a Tom, Rahim, or Ram. So this is for the starters. Some fundamental principles. It is not that once you solve this problem once and it never comes back. Even an executive could face the same problem. So watch out for this for multiple times in your career. And I've kept the things very simple. Action mindset is about managing things that will pull you down from the action mindset and increase the things that will move into the action. If you keep all your analysis and actions towards these two factors, it's very simple to understand and take some affirmative action on this. And finally, it's all about emotions. Um, and while we say emotions, they occur naturally, but the emotions can be understood, responded, and in fact can be gamed for your advantage. And I've used an analogy of baby. It's easier to understand and relate with. To start with, in some time of my career, I was really frozen, meaning I used to be distracted a lot, and I really couldn't, drag myself to work. And doing any kind of work was really difficult for me. So in those cases, I have a few suggestions. One is try to get a pair to work with. That will ensure that you don't have the starting problem, and you don't get into a stage where you become completely frozen. So choose a person who can work with you for at least a couple of hours a day, or even 30 minutes a day is good to start with. Second, if you have a bigger task, for example, if you have planned for a daily stand up or daily meeting, choose the smallest part of the work which you can do it repeatedly. It could be that you are the person who will set the meeting, or you are the person who will take notes, or you are the time cop in that. So do take up the smallest work which you can do comfortably. And a lot of people say that to avoid distractions, but I find it's very, very difficult to do that in the start. So replace your distractions with another distraction. So what I did was I started playing small, orchestral music, and in some cases binaural beats or a cloud noise, while my brain, got fooled with that some distraction is happening and it was happy. It was not actually distracting my main work. So that's one trick I used. But the most important thing I've found is to celebrate your success. Doing something on a daily basis needs to be celebrated, but we often have a very high bar and don't celebrate that. I would suggest even a simple thing like having a coffee or samosa or a cake. It's a great way to celebrate that. And also write how it felt after doing the task. Writing something on paper will ensure that it has a reinforcing effect on your brain. But if you step back a little bit and think about what we are doing in the previous one, we are actually trying to solve. No, actually, we are not trying to solve multiple problems. We are trying to first build the action muscle by starting to do some work, and we are not trying to attack the elephant head on. Getting into the action mindset has many things. Many things will pull you down. So we are not trying to attack all of them at once, and we are not even saying that start doing things with some focus. So we are saying start doing something, get up there and celebrate them. Now moving to the next stage, the baby wakes up. So now you are in a stage where you can start doing something. Now start scheduling some periodic time in your calendar for the work. So that way At a given period of time, you will always start doing something, and that will be like an habit which you will use. And second one is somehow do it. I mean, there is no great trips. If you want music, have it. If you want to write in a paper, do it. Or if you want to pair it, continue that. And once done, one small thing you can do is to review the work and find out what you're happy about it, about the quality of work, and what is it you can do better. Important thing. People always think about what you can do better, but it's important to say what you've done well also. Now, fourth step is to reduce the distractions. In the first step, we said you introduce some distractions in a positive way. In the fourth step, as you get and build the muscle, try to reduce the distractions to go into the next stage. The distractions could be that not checking your email, not checking the chat, not checking your WhatsApps. So try to reduce those distractions to build the focus muscle. Now your baby crawls. Now your action and discipline muscles have become active and they're bigger. Maybe the biceps one. Now create a daily task list, because you have to, leverage the action and the discipline muscles. And one way to do is to create a task list and schedule it in the multiple times of the day. And remember, do not overwhelm with no gaps between the tasks. Have some gaps, have some celebration fun, but ensure that you have a task list. And you can utilize a technique like a Pomodoro, where you can set up a focus time of 20 to 25 minutes and a 5 minutes break. And what I did was that after every day, if I completed 8 Pomodoros, I used to give myself a tea. I'm not a coffee guy, so I gifted myself a tea. So that was a very positive reinforcing effect on the habit. Now, again, at this point of time, you might think that, life is easy and then the problem is solved, but it's actually not. The problem for, a person in the street is not the same problem that Bill Gates faces. Once you've built your action muscle and some amount of the discipline, uh, invariably your brain start expecting more. Now, there are different other factors which will come in, which will pull you down, and you have to find out what other factors will pull you. Let's delve into that. So now the baby walks. Now you should start looking at, hey, what is that I can aim, but I'm going to aim low. One of the mistakes that we do, and Jordan Peterson nicely points out, is that we start aiming really very high, and that itself creates an inertia and a fear that we can't do things and we drop the action completely. So start aiming low. And simple things like, if you're a developer, you can say that, hey, I will finish the story with no bugs. Or if you're learning, you can say, I will write 10 programs in a month. Or if you're a program manager, you will say, I will do 4 governance meetings per week or per month. So some simple goals you can keep. Ensure that this is consistent and you try to achieve them. It's very important that, smaller goals will give you the freedom and wings to set larger goals. That is a very, very important mantra that we all should remember on this. Now, as I said, the rich person's problems is very different. So, once you start having discipline, some amount of goals, you will start having wings and you want to achieve more. One thing you might face is that, the energy comes down because, you feel everything is very, like the rows and columns, very process oriented, and there is no creativity in that. So you might want to, deliberately bring in some flood of creativity by doing different things. Like, for example, you can sing a song, or you can volunteer for some activity in your office, or you can write a blog, or, you can participate in a hackathon. Meet different people from different walks of life, and they'll give you a lot of energy. And try to do things differently. Let's say if you're having a meeting, think about how does it have a meeting with, with nobody talking. That's just something which is very creative and you can try it out. That builds a lot of energy in you and kills the inaction problem that comes in, that time. Having said all that, it is important to understand this is a journey where you discover yourself. It's not that you keep doing the actions, the tasks, and continuously. As you do more tasks, get more discipline, have more goals, you will find new capacities, new aspirations, new qualities, and you will discover yourself more. Because, and the reason I found is that When you get freedom to do things, the freedom to explore yourself and express yourself also comes up. So that's a very, very important aspect. Because if you're not thinking this is not a discovery activity, then at some point in time you might get bored, and that itself will, get you into inaction aspect. Now, after doing all of this, as I was saying before, we actually start discovering ourselves, and we expect more. This is where the aspect of finding a purpose becomes important. And I'm not saying that you have to find a purpose and then start doing actions. That's never a practical advice. But as and when you start having smaller goals, smaller aims, start doing things, you will discover yourself, and organically a purpose, your purpose evolves, which you will discover on that time. And again, I repeat, purpose is not a precondition to do work, but it's something which will emerge over a period of time. So once the purpose emerges and then it strengthens, you start doing the actions with that underlying purpose. That's a very big reservoir of energy which never depletes over a lifetime. To conclude, you can start at any level. It's not that you have to start from the scratch. And do not feel that, oh, I am an executive. How come that I'm starting at level 0? It's perfectly fine. Sometimes in your career, you might want to do that. You might have to do that. But because you are an executive, you might short circuit a lot of other levels and grow very fast. Yes, and build your action muscle first, then the focus, then the discipline, set goals, and then find a purpose. If you like this video, do like the video and share it with your friends, and more importantly, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.